All right, today I would like to share a short video about gap sealing. When we 3D print statue, um, it is completed from some parts and you don't want to have gaps, especially where they do not belong, okay? So as you can see over here, I have a little base. It's not as little, it's fairly big. This is a 6th scale diorama base for Deadpool from Wicked. There's a Deadpool right here and diorama over here. All right, and by the way, you can purchase this 3D print from my website copicoprinted.com in different scales and different finishes. All right, so today I would like to share, as I mentioned, how to seal the gap. So over here you can see it's compiled from different parts. I printed it in a whole single piece, except these smoke effects right here. And when you attach them, they're gonna have some gaps, obviously. So, and you know, you don't wanna have gaps between a base and a smoke. I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? So you wanna seal the gaps. And I pretty much sealed already many of them, and there's a little gap still over here, so I thought that would be a good time to share my technique for that. All right, while for some minor imperfections, the 3D resin that you use to print these statues with is perfectly fine. I wouldn't recommend using resin, liquid resin, for the gaps, simply because the resin will seep into the cracks deeper than just on a surface, and it will stay uncured inside. And uncured resin, after a while, it will make your 3D prints crack. For instance, if you're making a statue and there might be some resin uncured inside, it will make the statue crack, okay? So you don't want to use liquid resin for gaps like this gap would be over here, which is not anymore, I sealed it. But if I put the resin, liquid resin, into that gap, it will seep in and stays uncured. You're just gonna cure what's on the top, but nothing that is actually inside. So for that, I would highly recommend either you can use, I have here, you can use plastic putty like Vallejo over here, which is excellent. But the problem with this is it takes a long time to dry and harden. In my experience, this one, for instance, takes definitely overnight to really nicely harden and be able to sand it and paint over it. But if you're looking for something fast, simply apply it, clean it, cure it, and paint over it right then and there, then I highly recommend light curing putty. This one is from Frozen and Mad Works. And as you can see, it is so almost like a gel. It's a gel putty, okay? And it's clear, meaning if you put a little bit more of it, thicker amount, it will carry the UV light throughout. So it's not gonna harden only on a top, you know, on a top layer. It will harden throughout. So, and okay, so what I did is I put a little bit of amount in the syringe right here, and I'm using, I want to say this one is about 1 millimeter, non-sharpened, you know, nicely dull needle, sort of. And what I'm using this one for is to apply it, okay? And you can use this one, or you can simply take just a brush that you're not gonna really use for anything else, because let me tell you, it will destroy your brush, but not beyond use anymore. You can still use it for this putty, but you're gonna have to clean it in some, let's say, lacquer thinner or something harsher than just the alcohol. 99% alcohol will not clean it off, okay? But we'll get to that later. So what I recommend is using a silicone tip brush, and you can get these fairly cheap I mean, I bought this whole set of bigger ones for bigger prints and smaller ones for like $7 on Amazon. So you can, you know, you can get these fairly cheap and they have different shapes. Okay. So the way I do it is basically locate the gap, right? And then I'm gonna squeeze a little bit of them out. Okay, right there, right? And next, what I'm gonna do, I'll have my 99% alcohol over here, and I'm gonna use it for smoothing, okay? So you can use either, like I said, old brush, or you can use this silicone tip brush. I'm gonna use some paper towel over here, and you can remove the excess with this. And since it's not contaminated with anything, you're not throwing it away, right? What you can do is take your container and you can put it nicely back. That way you don't waste any material, right? Just remember it's a UV putty, so don't do it in an open sunlight or UV light, okay? So we can get it like this and nicely fill in the gap, all right? Right there. And it doesn't run anywhere because it's a gel, as I mentioned, it's a putty, so like that. Okay, we seal the gap. I have a little bit more over there, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna apply a little bit more over here. Okay, teeny tiny bit more. All right, and I'm gonna use this silicone brush again to dab it in, okay, like so. All right, just like that. Okay, and next what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use this older brush that I have, okay, and I'm gonna dip it into the alcohol right here, and I'm gonna smooth out what I filled in, okay? So simply I'm gonna apply it like so and make it nice and smooth, so we don't have any rough edges or, you know, textures left. And so you can use this alcohol for it, okay? All right, just like that. And lastly, what we're gonna do, I have this UV pen over here. I believe I got this one from Mag 5. They make in the UV the display protectors for the 3D printers, and this one was about $14 or so, I'm not sure, but it is excellent UV light. So what I'm gonna do next, I'm going to expose it just like that for a couple of seconds, maybe 15-20 seconds, depending like how big your gap is. Just like that. All right, all right, and this is done. It's ready for sanding, it's ready for priming, painting, whatever you want to do with it. Now obviously this one is already primed, this base is already primed, so you know, you don't want to do it on already painted statue or bases. I wouldn't recommend it doing on already painted stuff, but before you prime it, as I did over here, you can see there are no gaps visible. This one is a little visible because I haven't applied primer fully onto this one, but there won't be any gaps exposed, and that's what you want. You don't want to have gap between base and a smoke, or you know, anything that doesn't have a gap in real life. So yeah, and that's about it. So I hope I helped you a little bit with this. In case you have any questions, where to get it, or where to get this putty. I believe I got this one together with another UV light from Frozen. There were 3 in a pack. I believe one is like $12, but if you get a pack, it's discounted. So yeah, if you have any questions, make sure you write them down below. I'll do my best to answer them in a timely fashion. And thanks for watching.